a person who can take a firm decision, like taking back the dockets. That to me, it shows someone who's upstanding, and then also making a firm decision on CBI, unlike our president, who goes and suspends someone with such allegations. So if there's anybody who's not fit for their position, it's the president.
I would also want to ask,
yeah.
Do you not think that Masemola should have returned the dockets the minute he came back from his December holiday leave and he realized that the dockets had been moved and that the minister had tried to disband a political killings task team that he had no power to disband? Do you not think Masemola should have acted much, much sooner and not wait for public pressure before he did anything?
But you see, that is the question, right? The question is, did he even know that CBI had the dockets? Because if we're saying he knew, then it also means that the president also knew about the whole shenanigans, and he waited for Mukwanagi to come out.
Yeah, fair point. Yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. We need upstanding. Look, the minister comes in, this Kachalia guy, and the president, who shouldn't be the president, and they're criticizing something that we as the public, or I as a citizen, see that it's a proper thing to do.
Yeah.
You see? So we need someone to take a firm decision, unlike our president, who people have to complain for years about illegal foreigners driving trucks. Look at what happened to the UK 2 weeks ago. The UK citizen complained about asylum hotels. A week later, the Prime Minister comes and says they're going to close down those hotels. Why is our president so impotent? So it begs the question, is the president one of these people that allow for this corruption and mismanagement of our country to continue? Right?
Okay.
He's not fit, and I think Masemola is fit for those two. He might be wrong maybe with the procedure, as you were saying, maybe law, right? But to me, even if he's wrong, I put up my hand and say, you know what, thank you. You showed me that you don't agree with what this guy was doing, and you took a firm decision. You're not gonna do what the president is doing.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lifuku. Really do appreciate that. Let's have a listen at some of these WhatsApp voice notes.
Good morning, Oliver, my brother. I think your opinion, it's always right, your opinion. It doesn't matter what other people are saying. I think you are right, my man. And what I also agree with you, the guy, our national commissioner, is not fit for that job. That guy, she should be a preacher man or a pastor, not that job. Thank you very much.
Oliver, don't be apologetic. You played it well. You said a devil's advocate and you keep people talking. In fact, you said it at a high pitch that people are boiling, people are burning, are talking. And that's what you said from the assessment of the lawyer, what they said. You didn't say there's a judgment. The judge is going to come, and the judgment is going to come. So do it well. Right on, brother. That's good.
Thank you very much for that. Let's go back to the lines. Kirk out in Cape Town. Kirk, good morning. Go for it.
Good morning, Oliver. My concern is in the taxi industry and the lack of appreciation for some South Africans to the value that the taxi industry brings to society.
There is no economy without the taxi industry. Let's just be clear about that.
Absolutely. The retail economy, the domestic worker economy, everything is touched by the taxi industry. The fact that government is not strong enough to enforce the traffic laws through the traffic department or through the transport ministry is a failure of government. The taxi industry are doing what they like, and they get away with murder, literally and figuratively. But there is, a lot of people don't appreciate the value that the taxi industry brings. So there's a lack of appreciation for us people who have motor vehicles and who don't rely on public transport. It's sad that such a vital cog in our economy is not managed correctly at all levels, and it has led to the lawlessness that exists within that industry. but it's allowed.
Yeah. No, thank you so much,
Yeah.
Kirk. Fascinating
Thank you,
opinion
Oliver.
there. Very, very interesting take. Appreciate it. Bonagele out in Cape Town. Bonagele, good morning.
A very good morning, Oliver. It's in injury time, but thanks for taking my call. In fact, I was listening to some of the listeners who happen to be accusing you of being biased. Are you, being the host or of the show, are you not supposed to have your views on air or opinions regarding a topic, of which I totally disagree with them? So each and every one of us will definitely have a different views with regard to any topic. Even you, as a host, you're supposed to have something to say. So these people are totally wrong. And in fact, no one is 100% yet. So anyone will just come up with his views. That's what it is. Topic is about that. Debate is about that. You understand? Unlike those who think you must go their route, say what I'm saying. What I'm saying is absolutely 100% correct. There's no such thing. Debate is not like that. So thank you very much. Have a nice one.
Thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. Appreciate that sentiment as well. Let's have a listen at some of these WhatsApp voice notes.
Hi, Oliver. It's JJ on State Street. Oliver, you'll never win with other people. The same people who say no, you are taking sides. They're already taking sides that Mkwanazi is telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But some of us, we know that his side, if you can investigate, you'll find more wrongs there in his own department.
Good morning, Oliver. What I'm only interested in is what are on those dockets. Nothing else. We want to know what is inside those dockets and who are implicated. Why is Ramaphosa upset about those dockets? Remember, Ramaphosa told us, he promised us about skin governance and transparency. And now he's doing shenanigans. We want to know what is happening. Let the police do their work, investigate and arrest. That's all.
Well, thank you so much for that. Really do appreciate it. Do stick around with us in the second hour. We are taking a dive into the municipal watch with a focus on the Northwest. We speak to unions this time around. What are the views and the interventions of the labor unions that represent municipal workers in the clearly struggling and defunct municipalities, many of which in the Northwest are also appearing before Parliament, having to account to the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. You can be a part of that conversation, 086 000 2032. It's 10 o'clock. Let's take your latest news bulletin.
Thank you, Oliver. Your top stories at this hour. EFF to continue demonstrating outside Kroonstad Magistrate Court, and Durban commuters stranded due to Santaco shutdown. Good morning. With the news at 10 o'clock, I am Chandruko Ligege. The EFF in the Free State Province says it will continue to monitor the case of the 80-year-old man accused of killing someone and burying them on his farm. The accused, who appeared briefly in the Kroonstad Magistrate Court yesterday, will be back this morning. The body of the person the farmer allegedly killed was found buried in a shallow grave in Kroonstad last month. A 16-year-old minor appeared in camera in the same matter. EFF Provincial Secretary Bosango Msimanga says party members will continue to demonstrate outside court.
What we are worried of going forward, and is likely to happen, will be told that the accused is not mentally fit, as a result will not stand a trial. It has happened with a number of white people. So we'll be here as EFF, we'll be watching very close. Where needs be, if we are to intervene, we'll definitely intervene in the best interest of justice.
Thousands of commuters in Durban, KwaZulu-Natal have been left stranded as members of the South African National Taxi Council, Santaco, embark on a shutdown. In areas such as Claremont and Kwadabega, commuters have been forced to make alternative transport arrangements after taxi services were withdrawn on Tuesday. Taxi operators in surrounding regions have joined the strike today. The operators are demanding the release of their impounded vehicles and operating licenses. Sandile Mbai is one of the affected commuters.
It's affecting us badly because we cannot go to work. We don't have our own cars. We rely on taxis or mini buses. In the area that you are located into, we don't have alternative transport like buses and trains. We only rely on taxi. So if the taxis are on strike, we cannot go to work and we cannot even request. And Ubers are expensive at this time.
Police have seized copper cables worth 3 million rands and arrested 5 suspects at an unregistered scrapyard in Didir outside Vereeniging in Gauteng. Provincial Police spokesperson Dimakatso Nebuhuri says the arrests follow a tip-off.
A team comprising of Citibank Infrastructure Unit, Tote and Traffic Wardens and private security companies discovered large quantities of copper cable and further seized homemade stoves reportedly used to burn the copper and arrested the 5 suspects. It was later established that the suspects are undocumented foreign nationals, and it was further revealed that the copper cable recovered belonged to Transnet, which positively identified the cable. All 5 suspects will appear before Vanderbijl Magistrates Court soon on charges of possession of stolen infrastructure, dealing with second-hand goods without a license, and contravening the Immigration Act.
Veteran journalist Lize Gamda, who is a friend of the late Tsidi Madia, has described her as a fearless storyteller. Da was speaking at the funeral service of Madia at the San Salvador Catholic Church in Germiston, Johannesburg. Madia died last week at the age of 42 after a short illness. Madia's proudest moment prior to her trip to the White House was the country's case against Israel at the International Court of Justice.
I remember as we watched Advocate Ngugai Tobi making his arguments, and then there was an NEC later on when the president was sitting watching the deliberations. We were so proud of the small country in the bottom of the world, which was not willing to bow down or cower to any evil. I think Utsidi, wherever she is most happiest to know that this is what our country stands for.
And finally, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio has arrived in Ecuador on a visit aimed at security cooperation. Criminal gangs from around the world are drawn to Ecuador, which has become a major transport route for cocaine. Earlier, Rubio had talks with President Claudia Sheinbaum in Mexico City. The BBC's Will Grant has the details.
Secretary Rubio said that the security relationship between Mexico and the US was the strongest it's ever been. Beyond the high praise, though, it was a reference to a recent crackdown on fentanyl trafficking and undocumented immigration at the border by Mexican forces, something the Trump administration has made a requirement to avoid the imposition of high tariffs. As for sovereignty, that was in essence a reference to the threat of unilateral US military action on Mexican soil in the battle against the drug cartels. It is something which the Sheinbaum administration and Mexicans more generally are staunchly opposed to.
A recap on the top story at 10. The EFF in the Free State says it will continue to monitor the case of the 80-year-old man accused of killing someone and burying them on his farm. The accused, who appeared briefly in the Kroonstad Magistrate Court yesterday, will be back this morning. For SAFM News, I am Chanduko Ligege. Ondelambana has your 10:30 headlines.
The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
What impact has it had on your life in terms of your work as a journalist and how it's affected you practically?
Well, Emerson Mnangagwa is different from Mugabe because Mugabe tried to have a bit of sophistication. So if he wanted to come after you, he will use laws and rules that are tangible. But Emerson Mnangagwa doesn't operate like that. He can arrest you like he did to me, using a law that does not exist. And even if you have done nothing wrong, I was thrown into prison 3 times inside 6 months.
Hope will let you know, no, right? Award-winning journalist
Ashraf Garda on SAFM. Find the podcast at safm.co.za.
Here, there, and everywhere. SAFM 106.2 FM in Table Table Mountain.
You are listening to Oliver Dickson on SAFM.
The Talking Point on SAFM. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
It is 7 minutes after 10 o'clock, and you're listening to the Thursday edition of The Talking Point. My name is Oliver Dickson. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Really do appreciate it. It is the Municipal Watch, and today we focus on the Northwest. Now, the Northwest has been covered on the Municipal Watch. In fact, it's the most covered province on the Municipal Watch over the last, 3 years or so. It is the residents of the Northwest are very vocal and proactive about complaining about what's going on in the Northwest. A great deal of malfeasance and maladministration is taking place in the Northwest. Continuously so, unrelentingly so. And the Northwest and the various municipalities and district municipalities of the Northwest have now appeared and are appearing before the Portfolio Committee on Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs in Parliament, before the Joint Parliamentary Oversight Delegation that has been continuing it with its work in the Northwest. 10 municipalities have been scheduled to appear before it to account. And they're working in tandem with the Northwest Provincial Legislature to try and turn around the situation there. Some of the municipalities which have appeared and are appearing, the Dr. Ruth Sehomotse Mompati District Municipality, which owes Magali's water in excess of R1 billion. In fact, the municipality is no longer a going concern. It's become an uncertainty. Its liabilities exceed its assets by more than 800 million rand. At that point, you're an insolvent institution. That's it. You're an insolvent institution. The Maribeng local municipality is also an uncertainty and no longer a going concern. And these are just but some examples. In Maribeng, for instance, they've spent more than 100% of their budget, their service delivery budget, but have only been able to reach 67% of its service delivery targets. What the hell? What the actual hell? But you see, municipalities aren't just municipalities for its own sake. They're made up of people, workers, oftentimes unionized workers. And various unions operate in the local municipality space, local government space, and have a sense of the dysfunction of a number of these municipalities and local governments. And joining me this morning to talk about it is the provincial chairperson of the Independent Municipal and Allied Trade Union, IMATU, in the Northwest. He was also a member of the National Executive Committee, George Morapedi. We're struggling to get a hold of our second guest, Vincent Diboko, who's the Provincial Secretary for the South African Municipal Workers Union, SAMU. As soon as we are able to make a connection with Vincent, he'll join in on the conversation. But George, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Oliver, and good morning to your listeners. And as IMATU, we are privileged to be part of your show.
George, are municipalities or are trade unions operating in certain municipalities part of the reason why those municipalities are dysfunctional?
Oliver, I think that's the correct question that you are asking us. As IMATU in the different municipalities, we are operating in all the municipalities that are there in the Northwest Province. And I think in your intro, what you have raised, it's things that we have been raising as IMATU regarding the governance of municipalities in our province. And maybe to be just specific, 2 months ago, we had a meeting with the MEC for Coxstar in the Northwest Province, and we have raised a number of issues with him concerning what is happening in the municipalities in the Northwest Province. So we are raising issues because as IMAD we believe, and I think we have resolved also in our last conference that we want to see local government working. And I think we have support of our members who wants to ensure that local government is working for our communities. But unfortunately, there are issues that are happening in different municipalities where in some instances it's pure lack of support either from political office bearers and senior managers in those municipalities. But our members have committed, and I think the last time around July, we even had a presidential tour in the province where we were encouraging our members to ensure that local government is working in our province. They must be able to do their work and also ensure that communities receive services, because we understand that the salaries that we are receiving, they are paid by taxpayers. So our role is not to play politics, but to ensure that we provide the necessary services to communities. Thank you.
Yeah. But more importantly, when unionized workers are standing in the way of service delivery, or when unionized workers are making it difficult for municipalities to function correctly, why is it that unions don't seem to be calling their members to order?
I think for the past 5 years or 8 years, I've been the chairperson of the province, of IMAT in the province. And I want to attest that from that period that I've been leading, together with the collective of the provincial committee, we have never experienced strikes in the province as the union, and we have never blocked issues of service delivery. I think what we need to explain to you and the listeners is that where there were instances where workers were not working, a particular example where there was an occurrence of that, you had that in Mamusa, you had that in the Zobota, and I think all of us, we should be knowing what is the problem, because in most instances, workers would stay for a period of 2 months not receiving their salaries, and then that would create that problem that workers would say, but how do we then continue to go to work while we have not received our salaries? Because some of them, remember, they have to commute from where they stay to work. And then if you have not received your salary, it becomes difficult, because the employer then, during that situation, does not come with alternative to ensure that at least they transport employees from where they stay so that they can go and provide services to the communities.
Yeah. Vincent, I want to bring you into the conversation here. Vincent Diboko is the Provincial Secretary for SAMU in the Northwest. Vincent, what role are unions playing in the dysfunction of municipalities? And I want to provide this as an opportunity for you to be reflective in perhaps the own goals that unions have been scoring.
No, thank you very much, Oliphant, and greetings to our viewers. My name is Dickson. I'm the Provincial Secretary, like you indicated. I think the role of the union is to organize members, protect rights of workers in terms of the Labour Relations Act and other legislations that are being led in municipality. That specifically it is our role, and as leadership is to coordinate issues of workers in terms of your LLF resolutions or service delivery issues that affect your workers, your PPE issues, tools of trade, non-payment of pension funds. Those are critical issues that as a union you must deal with them without taking any side.
But more than that, when workers are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, oftentimes when they face disciplinary actions or when they face sanctions, unions come to their defense, as is their promise to their members. Do unions turn around and have tough conversations with their members?
No, I think you are correct. We can't allow workers to be selectively disciplined without proper procedures, because we've got code of conduct in municipalities. And we've got your labor relations act that guides the employer how to deal with the disciplinary process. But we cannot allow workers to be subjected to either political discipline because of narrow tendency in municipalities. And we are right. We must defend our workers as the union, because that is the core function of the union. But in our general meeting or constituency meeting, we are talking to our members to do their work so that union cannot at all times be fire extinguishers of our members. But we are almost talking to them, and we can attest that we've got a relationship with Imadu as one of the union in our local government. Normally, even at LLF, we are attending them, both of us, so that we must speak one voice and one decision to our members. What is critical is to defend the pledge and integrity of our members at local government.
Yeah. One of the crises in local government, George, I want to bring you back in here, is that local government, local municipality employees go into bargaining for salary increments as well as conditions of labor every year, every 3 years, whatever the agreement cycle is. And oftentimes they ask for more but haven't been able to deliver more than what has been necessary. And many argue that local government employees, not only are they overpaid, but also overprotected. What's your view on that?
I think that argument it's a narrow and uninformed argument to say workers in local government are overpaid. It's not true. When you check the current state of the economy of the country, and when you check the kind of requirements or qualifications that some of those employees have acquired, and it is not correct. And I think when you can check the almost all the increases that we receive, they are inflation based. So it's not like unions would demand higher salaries. So that's what the employers are paying currently, inflation-based increases. If you can check even the last salary and wage agreement that we have signed, a 5-year agreement, all those increases are inflation-based salaries. We understand that we are in a sector where funding basically in most municipalities depends on payment of rates and taxes. So I don't think it is fair to say the salaries are inflated and workers are not bringing their side. On the issue of workers not bringing their side, I think one thing that we also need to bring to light is that in some instances, workers are there. You have a situation where we are expected, and in most instances, workers compromise the issue of occupational health and safety, where they are working in dangerous situations where they don't have protective clothing. Some instances, workers are even using unroadworthy vehicles. So you can't put the blame on workers because you have senior managers, we have politicians who are unable to provide tools of trade. That's why sometimes you would see it would look like workers are not doing their work. But the situation itself and the tools of trade that are not there hinders workers to ensure that there is efficient service delivery to our communities.
Yeah. We're going to have to take a break there, pause there. Give us a call. I'd love to hear from you. 086 000 2032, 086 000 2032. Your WhatsApp voice notes on 0614 104 107, 0614 104 107. Of course, tweet me at Oliver_speaking on Twitter, Oliver Dickson on Facebook. It's the Municipal Watch. I'm talking to trade unionist George Murapedi as well as Vincent Dipoko. We're focusing on the municipalities of the Northwest. 21 minutes after 10.
SAFM music crafted to make you feel real good. Handpicked just for your pleasure. Classic 6, sounding so good, only on SAFM. If you're active on social media and love SAFM, we hope you'll take a moment to like or follow our SAFM page on Facebook and Twitter. These are the best places to find all the guest information, conversations, and stories you love from your favorite presenters, along with regular updates from SABC News. And don't forget, you can send your questions to feedback@safm.co.za. SAFM, leading the conversation.
Municipal Watch, bringing your local issues on the national agenda. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
What is wrong with the Northwest or the municipalities of the Northwest? Give me a call, 086 000 2032, 086 000 2032. Your WhatsApp voice notes on 0614 104 107. I'm in conversation with George Murapedi as well as Vincent Dibogo. Vincent, the municipalities, or at least unions, have an interest in the well-functioning of municipalities because that means that their members remain gainfully employed, that their members contribute positively to society, and that their members are able to deliver. When municipalities are dysfunctional, workers, or at least the job security of workers, become precarious. We've seen instances where salaries are not paid on time in certain municipalities because the municipalities are insolvent and quite literally don't have money in their coffers. And the problems of dysfunctional municipalities are endless, which also negatively affect the interest of unions that operate in those municipalities. So I would then assume that you have the best interest of the municipality at heart as well. So let me then ask you this. Generally speaking, the 10 municipalities across the Northwest, why are most of them just so utterly and irredeemably dysfunctional?
No, I think you are correct, but we must understand that as workers, we've got an interest at our heart to better service delivery in our community, like we are saying. But we cannot do that thing if we don't have tools of trade, proper PPE, and adequate resources to deliver those services in our communities. So we need to urge our municipalities and our officials, in particular your managers, directors, and political heads of that institution, to provide resources to our members so that they can deliver better service delivery to our communities. Because like we have already alluded, if most of the municipalities are dysfunctional, most of our members' job security of them is unquestionable, and we don't want to enter into that space as unions and members at large. So that will be our responsibility.
Why wouldn't you want to enter into that space?
No, we can't enter into that space because if municipalities are not in working good condition, it will then affect our members in a bad way. So that's what we don't want to venture into that space. We want to better service delivery so that our job security of our members are in good space.
Yeah. George, why are most of the municipalities across, if not all, of the municipalities in the Northwest dysfunctional?
I think the country has witnessed something this week, the past 3 days, and our perspective, and I'm just going to refer, and Vincent can confirm that, when you were the visit of the committee, I think there are 3 things. One, political instability, where infighting between councillors in most municipalities. 2, the issue of ever-changing administration. There is no stability, where in some instances other municipalities who are getting situation where most of the senior managers, they are acting on those positions. And I think that is one thing that contributes to collapse. And I think one thing that we also raise is this thing of outsourcing of services, because at the end of the day, you find a situation where it also affects the issue of service delivery. It also it's done in a way that basically when they outsource other services, those services that they outsource does not benefit the municipality. And I think the other instance, it's like I said, the main issue is the issue of political interference. Politicians were making presentations at the committee, and every time they were dismissing the committee to say there is no political interference. There is high political interference in the administration in the Northwest, in most municipalities. That's why you see the issue of almost the collapse of municipalities in the province. And that's the main problem.
Yeah. Give us a call, 086 000 2032, 086 000 2032. Your WhatsApp voice notes on 0614 104 107, 0614 104 107. This is the Municipal Watch with a focus on the Northwest. I'm in conversation with George Morapedi, the provincial chairperson of the Independent Municipal and Allied Trade Union Imatu in the Northwest, as well as Vincent Diboko, the provincial secretary for the South African Municipal Workers Union. Perhaps I should ask you, as a resident of the Northwest, why is it that it seems like the municipalities of the Northwest are just irredeemably dysfunctional? I mean, for a municipality to have its liabilities exceed its assets by 800 million, one has to ask the question, how on earth did you get there? And how has it been allowed to go on for such a long time? Let's have a listen at this WhatsApp voice note.
Hi, Oliver. It's JJ on State Street. Oliver, you'll never win with other people. The same people who say, no, you are taking sides, they're already taking sides that Mkwanazi is telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
My apologies. That is a voice note from earlier on in the day. I want to bring you this story, which I want to give my panelists an opportunity to respond to on the other side of the headlines. The Cooperative Governance Minister, Velenkosini Hlabisa, has decided to place the Tsobotla local municipality under national government administration. This morning, the Democratic Alliance had reacted to it. In fact, yesterday morning, Democratic Alliance had reacted to it, saying that they welcome the decision. It's seemingly also the first time that the national government has taken a local municipality in the Northwest under administration in our democratic dispensation. The Democratic Alliance says they will engage the minister on a number of things. A fully funded financial recovery plan administered by the National Treasury, an independent financial forensics audit, an independent skills audit of all management, lifestyle audits of elected political office bearers and municipal management, disciplinary action to remove compromised politicians and municipal officials from office, the recruitment of skilled, qualified and experienced officials, as well as the asset forfeiture units efforts to recover all losses identified in the forensics audit. That's what the DA says they'll ask the minister to focus on there, as the Tsobotla local municipality is taken under national government administration under section 1397. It's not taken under provincial government administration, and that's the interesting distinction here. It's taken a local municipality, it's taken under national government administration. I want to give our panelists an opportunity on the other side of the break to respond to that, but also want to ask you if you think this is a move in the right direction. 086 000 2032, 086 000 2032. Your WhatsApp voice notes on 0614 104 107. It's just after 10:30. Let's take your latest headlines with Ondelambana.
Thank you, Oliver. On the news headlines, owners of small businesses, including street vendors in Durban, are among those that the taxi shutdown has severely affected. Members of the South African National Taxi Council have embarked on the shutdown. The EFF in the Free State says it will continue to monitor the case of the 80-year-old man accused of killing someone and burying them on his farm. And broadcast journalist Aldrin St-Pierre says although his late friend C.D. Madia did not win any awards, she had a remarkable ability to win the hearts of the people. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
And let's take a look at your markets at this hour. The rand is currently trading at 17 rand 74 cents to the dollar, 23 rand 81 cents to the pound, and 20 rand 67 cents to the euro. Markets in Asia were mixed at the closing bell, and the JSE is also mixed in mid-morning trade. Markets in Europe are mainly higher. Gold is trading at $3,539 and platinum at $1,403 per ounce. The price of Brent crude oil is at $66.92 a barrel.
The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
What about the AU?
My brother, AU is dead. AU is D-E-A-D, is dead. Is a useless body. We've been captured by the French again. What will they do? Have they documented any crimes against humanity committed in Cameroon? No.
Okay.
Have they done anything? No. Have they intervened? No. AU is useless.
Dr. David Matsanga and Dickson, AU is dead. D-E-A-D.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM. Find the podcast at safm.co.za.
Hi, I'm Khomotso KG Mweketi, and I believe in music's ability to connect, to heal, to remind, and to bring joy. And each week on my Saturday and Sunday show Seasons right here on SAFM, I endeavor to do just that. So join the movement of Seasons every Saturday and Sunday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's addictive. You might invite a friend. Seasons, only on SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide with me, KG Mweketi.
Here, there, and everywhere. SAFM 104.3 FM in Rustenburg.
Municipal Watch, bringing your local issues on the national agenda. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
It is 25 minutes to the top of the hour, to 11 o'clock. You're listening to The Talking Point. My name is Oliver Dickson, and this is the Municipal Watch. I'm in conversation with trade unionist Vincent Dipoko of the South African Municipal Workers Union, as well as George Morapedi, who's of the Independent Municipal and Allied Trade Union. Before we went to the headlines there, I had framed the action by the Cooperative Governance Minister Velenkosi Nihlabisa to take the Ditobotla local municipality under national government administration and the Democratic Alliance's response to that. I want to place it to you now. George, what's your view on the minister deciding to take Ditobotla under national government administration?
Oliver, I think that was a great move. Maybe if I can give a background. We, like I said, 2 months ago, we had a meeting with the MEC, and that was our view. And then I remember in our March MEC, we also raised it, and the president of the union, together with the secretary general, they proposed that to the minister that the national department needs to take over the whole administration of Ditsobotla. Because our view is simple. The Northwest government has been intervening there. And our problem and what we have raised with the MEC is that they are recycling the same people who are administrators there if they are doing intervention. And some of those people who are deployed in that municipality to do the intervention, some of them they are implicated in some other actions. And also our view, and I think our national leaders, what we are also going to present to the minister when he sends the team there, we are saying the team that is going to be sent there, it should be vetted because we believe that there is still hope for that municipality. The community of Ditsobotla cannot suffer because people are playing politics there, people have business interests there, and there are a number of issues that we believe if we can have a team that is vetted, that does not have personal interest or interest of other business people, that municipality we can be turned around and can be functional and be able to provide services to communities of Ditsobotla. And we welcome the announcement and the decision that is taken by the minister to place that municipality under 1397, which we believe there would be turnaround this time.
Yeah. Vincent, what's your reaction to that?
No, thank you very much. I think from our side, we will then welcome that intervention from national. But it must be clear, we need the terms of reference of that intervention to be specific so that tomorrow they cannot have something outside what they are mandated for us. Because we believe that the provincial government has failed dismally in that municipality, and dissolution of that municipality or putting that municipality under Section 139B is not to us the situation. And through COSATU interventions and ourselves, we have been saying let the national government take over, and but they must have clear terms of reference in terms of what they want to achieve. And when they leave that municipality, they must also leave the skills. They cannot delegate officials from national without giving the very same employees or workers of that municipality the skills of issues that are at hand in that municipality. Thank you very much.
George, one of the questions I had posed was, and I'd like you to respond, is why is taking the municipality under national government administration a better option than taking it under provincial government administration? What's your view on that distinction?
Oliver, like I said, the provincial government has failed. And the information that we are having, you have people who are deployed in that municipality. What they normally do, instead of normalizing the situation, you see people being administrators in that municipality. Instead of stabilizing the municipality, you see appointment of different companies, and they are unable to resolve issues. And then also, some of them they are questionable. I think when you listen to when we were watching the portfolio committee it was in the province, one of the issues that was highlighted is that you have even the provincial government seconding people who are being investigated by the Hawks from other municipalities. There is this guy who was, and not only him, who was deployed in Ratlo, he was deployed in another municipality. And when you check the modus operandi of these guys, the first thing when they enter in the municipalities, and workers will tell you, one, they would advertise for consultants and what. They don't stabilize municipality. So our view is that those people who are going to those municipalities to push business interest of certain individuals, either they are benefiting from those businesses. So that's why you could not get stability in that municipality. And I think also the issue is the divisions between the politicians. I think parties that have deployed councillors there, if they can exercise and also maybe those who are deployed in those positions can then understand their role to say, our role as councillors is to play oversight and ensure that communities get services. But in this case, you have a situation where administrators, your mayors, your speakers, they are involved. They are interfering in the administration of the municipality.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just maybe a last question to ask, Vincent, is around the terms of reference that you say. The terms of reference must be correct. The Democratic Alliance has put 7 key points on the table: that they need a fully funded financial recovery plan administered by National Treasury, an independent financial forensics audit, an independent skills audit of all management, lifestyle audit of all elected political office bearers and municipal managers, disciplinary action to remove compromised politicians and municipal officials from office, the recruitment of skilled, qualified and experienced officials, as well as the activation of the asset forfeiture unit to recover all the losses identified in the forensics audit. What's your view on those terms, and is there anything that you perhaps would like to take away from that or add to that?
No, I think our view is that we believe that the teams from national, they will then have engagement with unions in particular. But we don't want to venture into a political space, because some of the issues that are raised by political parties are in the process of lobbying other municipality or officials or community members in their own view. So we don't want to venture into a political space of political parties. But we believe that we will then call to a meeting as workers or as unionists to come and have our own view and have clear directives from our terms of reference. We cannot say that one from DA are correct or are not correct, but we believe that they've got the political views in terms of how they want to address issues of deep water. So we can't venture into that space.
Okay.
We have our own view
Let me ask
We
you
have
about
our own view.
Sure. Let me ask you about one in particular, which is a skills audit, an independent skills audit of all workers. Typically, workers of municipalities are not fans of skills audit because skills audit often result in the firing or the removal of certain officials and workers across municipalities. And it often results in a restructuring, which oftentimes unions are not big fans of either. Would the South African Municipal Workers Union support a skills audit across the municipalities of the Northwest?
No, we will then support it because remember, most of politicians or community members are saying majority of municipal workers are not educated, and which is not true. We believe that process will then identify issues, and the municipality must have a plan to skill the unskilled workers in their field, so that tomorrow they must better their skills and service delivery in the broader space of our communities.
Yeah. Give me a call,
Oliver,
086.
if I can come in?
Sure, George, go for it.
Yeah, no, you know the issue of skills development. I think what we must make clear as unions, we can't be opposed to the issue of skills audit. And maybe also, Oliver, I must just make you aware, the provincial department have released the skills audit report in municipalities. And when you check those skills audit reports, municipalities or most employees are not found wanting, because the majority of them, they have the necessary requirements and necessary qualifications in the sector. So whether it's going to happen in this or what, we can't say really. Yes, there are incidents where you might find other people are occupying positions. They don't have those qualifications. And remember also, our belief is that as the union, because we want to see the issue of good governance, every time when there are appointments, remember there is what we call the municipal staff regulations, which also outlines when positions are advertised, what are the requirements. And as unions, we ensure during the process of the interviews, when we observe those processes, that the necessary candidates meet the requirements and they are competent to occupy those positions. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's go to the line. 086 000 2032. Give me a call. Obakwe out in Taung. Obakwe, good evening. Good morning, sorry.
Good morning, Oliver, and good morning to your guests. My brother, without wasting any time, the entire Northwest is corrupt from the legislature. That one is not open for discussion. Let me tell you this thing of the Jobot. This thing has been long overdue. It was supposed to be placed under whether from the national government a long time ago. The same municipal manager who's at the Jobota municipality, not a mayor actually, a municipal manager who's running the Jobota, he was at Kagisano Molopo. So in short, my brother, those people, all of them, they are corrupt. Whether MEC or a premier, all of them. So this is a pure recycling of the corrupt individuals. So how can the municipality function? Because all of those people, they are corrupt. There is no consequence management. All of them, they do as they please. They are stealing with impunity. Let me rest my case for now, my brother. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Butana, out in Rosebank. Butana, good morning.
Good morning, my brother, and good morning to your guest. The unions are part of the problem. They have created dysfunctional municipalities. They are part of the deploying committee, deploying crooks and thieves there. And people of Northwest, you deserve the crooks that you put there. What were you expecting? What are you expecting? The union, they know people are incompetent. They're not working. They are always in workshops. They are always in the meetings of the union. And what do you expect civic delivery there? It's crookedness that is happening there in Northwest. We have seen the worst of ANC working with crooked unions there.
Yep. Kandisa, Butana, thank you so much for your call. Appreciate it. Kandisa in Matlosana, good morning.
Morning, Oliver. How are you?
I'm fantastic, sir. Go for it.
Look, Oliver, the problem here is not any unions. It's municipalities that are not functional. unions, they must not come and lie here. They know exactly what is happening here in Northwest municipalities. Because unions are in pockets of municipal managers here in Makosan. They know, Vincent knows very well what is happening. You see, when they're supposed to raise issues in the LLF, someone calls him union members in his office and say someone is doing 1, 2, 3. When they're supposed to represent people, they don't represent employees. They represent their stomachs. Look, Oliver, we need MEC of local Wafcopter to come here in this radio station so that we must show him how to solve issues of Makosala as a resident of Northwest. You understand, Oliver? Now, we sit with municipalities that are owning pillars in ESCOM, in Midval. You see, unions, they are just relaxing like Sanko in the Northwest. What they know only to call the municipal manager and say, municipal manager, we will protect you. Nobody will fire you. You see, the problem of these municipalities are not unions. They know exactly what they're supposed to do, Oliver. You see, here in Makosana, unions are captured by the office of the municipal manager. That's why yesterday, Oliver, we have seen who are the problems of these municipalities. You see, they put them in CFOs. They said CFO is doing this. But we know the problem is doing long ago. The CFO, when it comes in this municipality, these problems, they were there. Now, they open cases because they don't want this CFO.
Okay.
You see, and they know what is happening, Oliver. They know.
Yeah.
They are in pockets of officials of municipalities here in the Northwest.
Okay, Kanisa, I'm going to pause it there because I want to give Vincent and George an opportunity to respond to your criticisms, claims, and allegations there. But before we do, we're going to take a short break. On the other side of this, we'll continue.
Do you know what's hiding behind colorful packaging of unhealthy food? Big food companies target children with unhealthy packaged foods that hide high levels of sugar, salt, and fat, which could lead to heart disease, diabetes, and hypertension. But the truth is hidden from consumers. Front-of-package warning labels are a proven solution to help consumers make informed decisions. The government must act now. We have the right to know what's in our food. Demand front-of-package warning labels. Sign the petition on heala.org, HEALA.org, by 30 September.
You are listening to Oliver Dickson on SAFM. Municipal Watch, bringing your local issues on the national agenda. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
10 minutes to the top of the hour. This is the Municipal Watch here on the Talking Point on SAFM. I'm in conversation with Vincent Dipoko of the South African Municipal Workers Union in the Northwest, as well as George Morapedi, who's the provincial chairperson of the Independent Municipal and Allied Trade Union. George and Vincent, in that order, I'd like you to respond to the allegations, claims, and criticisms made there by Kandisa before we went to the break that unions in the Northwest, and particularly in Ditsobotla, are captured. Go for it.
Yeah, Oliver, people are making allegations without proper evidence. And I'm going to give you a scenario where our shop stewards are raising issues sharply. Vincent, at some point, he was dismissed for raising issues. And then when you go also to the bargaining council, the cases that are there, it will show you how sharply as unions we are raising issues. At some point, I was dismissed when I was raising other irregularities in the municipality that I'm working. So the majority of our shop stewards are subjected to that treatment. Immediately when they raise issues, there are cases that are concocted against them. And also, Oliver, can I take you? There is one particular shop steward who has raised matters in a former shop steward in Taun. He went even, he did not even enjoy the support of the government. At some point, he referred the matter to the public protector. The public protector decided to abandon him to assist him with the case. Lawyers for Human Rights was not there to assist him. For 13 years, after 13 years, that shop steward was then able to get victory after getting support. So it's not true that as shop steward we are captured. We can't be captured because we don't have interest of anything. I think if we have interest of being promoted, we would apply as normal employees and have we meet the necessary requirements for those positions. So it is not true that we are captured, and I think our basis is that if you can get data from the bargaining council, it would tell you the number of shop stewards who have been dismissed. Cases are referred to the labor court because they were raising issues that are affecting municipalities, and they were victimized. In most instances, when we raise issues, we are victimized, and it is incorrect to say that we are captured. And I think members of the union also in our different municipalities where a shop steward is found compromised. In most instances, we apply the constitution and remove such kind of leaders. So we can't be captured by municipal managers with the hope of compromising workers. I think some of us, and most of the shop stewards, when they accept the call to be shop steward, they knew that this is a commitment. It's the leaders who want to bring change in the institution and also to ensure that communities receive services. So it is not true that we are captured. A statement cannot be made and then there is no evidence to show that we are captured. We have raised many issues. That's why earlier when we started, all these issues that were raised even during the visit of the committee, it's issues that we have raised 2 months ago with the MEC of Coxstar in the Northwest Province. Thank you.
Yeah, Vincent, is someone captured?
No. Let's allow this process, Oliver, and agree that all of us, we are not in denial that most of the municipalities in the province are not effective in terms of service delivery. We are not denying it as workers and as union. We have been raising those issues that most of our municipalities are not functional well due to other issues. But two, Oliver, we must deal with this issue, and it's a perception that says shop stewards are captured, shop stewards are being bribed, shop stewards are doing 1, 2, 3, 4 with the employer. We can't allow that situation. And I'm saying, if we've got proof that says a shop steward has been giving 500,000 or a million to sell workers, give us that proof, and besides giving us that proof, go to the police station, open a criminal case against that particular person. The union will deal with that particular person, and the law must take its course. And we know that we see our members, including community members, there are those who are being sponsored to attack unions, to attack shop stewards, to attack everyone. We know this information or tricks that always the employer or anyone is going to use against us. But we are not going to be intimidated. We are going to raise issues of workers because we've been elected by workers, and we are not going to be apologetic to everybody here.
Okay, let's go to Mbowana out in Mahikeng. Mbowana, good morning. Go for it.
Yeah, good morning, Oliver.
Yes, morning. Go for it.
You see why the service delivery is poor. You see these workers, there is most of the places in Northwest is a village. So what happens is there's a fuel, there's a diesel that is being given to each and every village to pump water. So the people that are giving the diesel, they do sell some of the diesel. So what happens is, by the end of the month, the diesel is short. Now the community is not getting water. In other cases, you will find out there's like Monday there's water, Tuesday there's water, Wednesday there's no water, Thursday there's no water. Because why? They're trying to push the days so that it will be able to end the month. So that is some of the corruption that is happening among the workers of Masipala.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Mbowana. I really do appreciate you raising that. Maybe just as a closing remark, now that there's a spotlight on the Northwest and administrative action is being taken, oversight committees, both at a provincial and national level, are looking into the Northwest. Perhaps, George, to ask you this, what is your hope for what a turnaround plan for the local governments of the Northwest to look like over the next few months and years?
No, Oliver, I believe that we have competent employees who are then able to do their work too. We also need to ensure that there is no political interference. Two, we hope that the current revision of the white paper on local government would also look at the model of funding local government in order to ensure that we provide services to communities. And the last point is that political parties who have deployed councillors in different local municipalities, I think if there can be, when they pick up issues of divisions, issues of political tensions, if they can intervene early, I think that would also assist in the smooth running of municipality. But the most important thing is the resources, and then also the model that national government is funding municipalities also. I think that is the problem. And also we need also, I think our view is also the role that should be played by district municipalities, because we believe they are not doing enough as mandated by the constitutions to really assist and facilitate other programs of service delivery to ensure that where there are weaknesses in local municipality, they then assist there.
Yeah. Vincent, in 30 seconds, your closing remarks?
Very much, Olive. I think what is best and very important is that community members must then assist us as workers to demand proper service delivery. And in that assistance, they must engage municipality to provide us with resources, proper PPE, so that our workers must deliver good service delivery. Lastly, we must all of us agree and engage different political parties that are led in municipalities to take accountability to their own members, because most of these issues that we are raising are not from the workers' point of view, but majority of them they are from political interference in most of the municipalities that are around the province or local municipality. So the blame cannot go to ordinary workers or unions at large. Remember, our role there is only to defend issues of workers. Yeah. We can't control municipality, we can't control council, we don't even appoint workers or appoint Section 57. When we go to interviews, we go there as observers. We can't even score. So most of our community members must understand where we are coming from and what we want to see to achieve the better service delivery to our communities.
Yeah. And I have to leave it there. Vincent Dipogo, thank you so much for your time this morning. Really do appreciate it. George Muraperi, thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. It's just about a minute after 11 o'clock. Ondela Mbana has your 11 o'clock news bulletin.
Thank you, Oliver. On the top stories, Durban businesses affected amid halted taxi operations and EFF protests against Free State murder accused. For SAFM News, I am Ondela Mbana, and a very good morning. Owners of small businesses, including street vendors in Durban, are among those that the taxi shutdown has severely affected. Members of the South African National Taxi Council have embarked on the shutdown. In Guadabega and Claremont, on the west of the city, businesses have been struggling since Tuesday. The withdrawal of operations from the area also comes after several taxi drivers were taken in for questioning for allegedly assaulting 2 e-hailing drivers last week. Other regions have joined the strike today. Taxi operators are demanding the release of their impounded vehicles and operating licenses. Businessman Yusuf Abdraman is affected.
3 days today, people are around community are not going to work because of strike of the taxis. You know, us, we work with people. People, when they go to work, they get money. When they come back around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, they used to buy us what we are running here in the shop. So for now, people are struggling, no one going work, mostly no one buys stuff like before. We have big problem. Everyone come to us, say, please give me some credit, because they are not going to work and we know them. We know each other. So that is affecting us, this strike, and it's a big problem.
Meanwhile, the eThekwini municipality has resolved to work with the KwaZulu-Natal Transport Department to speed up the processing of permits for taxi operators. The resolution follows last night's marathon meeting, which representatives of the department, the municipality and the Santakwa attended. Mayoral spokesperson Mluleki Mdungwa.
Well, regarding the impounding of vehicles, the city has already started engaging the Claremont and Kwadabega Taxi Association on the process of releasing impounded vehicles within the ambit of the law. We must emphasize that this process depends largely on the cooperation by taxi operators. Well, in the best interest of the community of eThekwini, the Mayor appealed to the leadership of the taxi industry to suspend the citywide strike and to resume taxi operations in all affected areas in eThekwini. As the city, we are committed to continue engaging the taxi industry to find an amicable solution to the challenges they have raised.
The EFF in the Free State says it will continue to monitor the case of the 80-year-old man accused of killing someone and burying them on his farm. The accused, who appeared briefly in the Kroonstad Magistrates Court yesterday, will be back this morning. The body of the person the farmer allegedly killed was found buried in a shallow grave in Kroonstad last month. A 16-year-old minor appeared in camera in the same matter. EFF Provincial Secretary Bosangu Msimanga says party members will continue to demonstrate outside court.
What we are worried of going forward, and it's likely to happen, will be told that the accused is not mentally fit, as a result will not stand a trial. It has happened with a number of white people. So we'll be here as EFF, we'll be watching very close. Where needs be, if we are to intervene, we'll definitely intervene in the best interest of justice. That's what we're going to do. But we're happy that this fool is arrested at last.
Broadcast journalist Eldrin Sampier says although his late friend Sidi Madia did not win any awards, she had a remarkable ability to win the hearts of the people. Madia died last week at the age of 42 after a short illness. Sampier says Madia did not seek praise. He was speaking at Madia's funeral service, which is currently underway at the San Salvador Catholic Church in Germiston, Johannesburg.
As much as she understood how impactful her role was in this country, and now recently what we realized, this world, is that she was also praise averse. Ungazama ukumkomplimenta uTD, she will find something to say that will throw you off because she doesn't feel comfortable in praise. So Lizega, for me, it's no surprise at all that TD has never won an award. But what she does know and what she knew is that she had the ability to win over people's hearts. Whoever she came in contact with, you know how she made you feel.
Songwriter and singer Sting has been sued by his former bandmates and the police over the alleged lost royalties for songs they recorded together. Andy Summers and Stuart Copeland have gone to the High Court in the UK because they believe they are owed around $2 million or more than 35 million rand. Sting, who wrote all of the band's biggest hits, says the claims are illegitimate. The BBC's Liz Omzimba has more.
In the 1970s and 80s, the band produced some of music's best-known songs. the legal dispute is centred around how the royalties from their hits were distributed between Sting, guitarist Andy Summers and drummer Stuart Copeland. Sting was the sole writer for many of the band's most successful singles. The band had an agreement that when he wrote a song, for certain categories of those royalties, a percentage would go to each of the other two members. But Sting says that they only are entitled to some of those.
Recapping the top story, owners of small businesses, including street vendors in Durban, are among those that the taxi shutdown has severely affected. Members of the South African National Taxi Council have embarked on the shutdown. I'm Ondela Mbana for SFM News Headlines at 11:30.
With the ever-changing financial landscape, it can be difficult to make sense of all the moves at times. Join me, Jimmy Moyaha, on the SAFM Market Update with MoneyWeb, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m, as we break down the key market trends, top financial stories, and smart investment insights, all in one place. It's everything you need to stay financially informed and ahead of the curve.
You are listening to SAFM Radio this Heritage Month.
Keeping your family healthy this winter can feel like a daunting task. Try the Lung Shield range. It includes capsules to support healthy lungs and immunity, a syrup for kids that supports the immune system and promotes lung health, and an effervescent with 13 essential ingredients to optimize immune function. Put your family's health first this winter with the Lung Shield range. Available without a prescription at leading pharmacies. Lung Shield, prescribed by doctors, recommended by pharmacists.
This week on Off-Pitch Goals, former Ajax, Amazulu and Bidvest Vid striker Sfiso Vilakazi aims to score big in the taxi business. He takes us through the strategy and cunning required to thrive in this competitive industry. Tune in to SABC Sport on DTT Channel 4 and SABC Plus, the Saturday 6 September at 8:30 p.m. Off-Pitch Goals, where we showcase how the stars score in business. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport. For the love of the game.
This year, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz Festival presents 3 unforgettable days deep in the art and heart of jazz. From the 26th, 27th and 28th of September, Umu Sankare, Abapemu, Jasmia Horn, Silent Law and the Noisemakers, Najbonk Trio, Michelle Ndingio-Jello, Willem Siini, Gabby Mutuba, and over 50 world-class acts will be ready to welcome you and yours to 4 magnificent stages of the Sandton Convention Center. Take me there. Buy your tickets at Ticketmaster now. Do great solutions start with a good conversation? SAFM, leading the conversations that move us.
The Talking Point on SAFM. Weekdays, 9 a.m. till midday.
It is just about 10 minutes after 11 o'clock. This is the third and final hour of The Talking Point. And in this hour, we're talking about learner data protection. A very interesting case or dispute of data protection between the information regulator last year and the Department of Basic Education brought to light, I think, the sensitivity of the data managed and handled by the education system by and large. The information regulator effectively told the Department of Basic Education, you can no longer publish matric results the way you continuously have in the past because it is a breach of data protection and data privacy and the principles pertaining thereto. But that begs the question, how much sensitive data does the education system, both at an administrative departmental level and at a school management level, have access to? And do we have the guarantee that this data is managed and handled with the integrity necessary, but more importantly, handled within the bounds of the law? And do we have sufficient assurance there too? Joining me for this conversation is Beck Mpanzi, the Chief Director for Information and Management Systems at the Department of Basic Education. Also joining me is Rian van der Berg, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Federation of Governing Bodies of South African Schools, FEDSAS, as well as Shiloh Naiken, who's the project executive at the National Education Collaboration Trust, SA-SAMS. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Really do appreciate it. Becky, I want to maybe start the conversation with you this morning. Take us through what the guiding principles are for the management and protection and storage of sensitive and important identifiable information of learners and parents that engages with the South African education system.
Thanks. Good morning, Olivia. Good morning to Shiloh and Ryan, as well as to the listeners. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Loud and clear.
Okay. Now, let me maybe thank for this opportunity just to share with the public the process that we follow in the department when processing this data. I must say, Olivia, that protecting the personal information of learners, educators, and parents is non-negotiable for the department. Remember, this data is also it's our data there as parents, because we do have children that are still attending school. So we're not just doing it for the sake of protecting parties. We're also protecting our own. So I think the question that arises from paper article, it's about how data is transported from school to the district and to the province. But maybe let me start by indicating that the department in 2004 decided to do away with surveys. Sending paper forms to schools, then the school will complete. I'm sure you remember that dark ages. So we introduced a school management system. It's called SA-SAMS. It's South African School Administration and Management System. So if you look into that word, there are two components. The other one is school administration.
Yeah.
In other words, this system was introduced to assist principals to run schools efficiently. In other words, to automate most of the tedious administrative record keeping that was done through the papers. In our when I was a teacher years ago, we used to spend a day just preparing a timetable, but with the system, you do it within a second. So I think the controversy, it's about the fact that the software that is used by this system, which is Microsoft Access, is not a web-based system. Is a standalone system. In other words, when, Oliver, you are capturing a learner in one school, the other school will not see whether that learner is also captured. Two, also the software is no longer supported by Microsoft. So then that's why we embarked on a process of introducing a modernized system, which is called modernized SA-SAMS. That's where Mr. Naken will come in. But even though this system is having these shortcomings, but we still enhance it in terms of strong password policies, and also log files are recorded, and we're also audited by the AG every year to see that the protection of that information at the school level, it adheres to these policies of the system. The issue that is raised by the article is that, as I indicated earlier on, how this data is transported to SACES districts. I must admit, Oliver and listeners, that initially, when we started introducing this system around 2004, the issue of CDs used, memory sticks used, it was happening. But over the years, we've improved that process. There is no single province that is transporting data using memory sticks, CDs, etc. All the data now is submitted electronically. And I must indicate that because KZN was cited as an example
that we reject that notion that KZN is using memory stick. KZN, they introduced a submission system where all the submissions from the schools are done electronically. Then my last comment, Olivia, is that I'm concerned that now FEDSAS, which is a formation of school body associations, which is supposed to help the department raise issues related to data of their fears. Now they are providing us with faceless principals that they are complaining, whereas principals, they've got an association, a formal association called SAPA, and we meet with them on a quarterly basis. We also meet with FEDSAS. There's a structure called National Consultative Forum, NCF. I'm scheduled to meet with them on Friday, tomorrow, where I will be presenting as well as on modernized SSMs with Chilo. So we do have a forum where we really meet, and this matter, for record, was raised, I think, in the last two meetings by FEDSAS again, and I addressed it to them. So I was surprised when I saw that also now they're using the media to spread really misinformation, because I did explain to them the entire process.
Well, we'll then get it sorted out here, and perhaps this is an opportune moment to bring into the conversation Rian van der Berg, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of FEDSAS. Rian, are you worried about data management and protection in South African across the South African education system?
Good morning, Oliver, and my two colleagues and the listeners. Yes, I think we are worried about children in general. We've seen a remarkable digitization of the world over the last few years, and if you read the media and the uptake of children on social media and everything digital is on the forefront. In saying that, the personal information of learners are classified, all information related to a learner is classified in the POPI Act as sensitive information. And when I was asked to comment, and it's true what Mr. Panza says, we've been engaging with the department for several years on the modernization, the current system being out of date, not supported by Microsoft, and all the facts we corroborate. But there's a vacuum of timing between when we all agreed that the previous system is lacking, the speed of change in education, in technology, which also affects education, and then the new system available for some, and there's other systems available to others. We are concerned that we've got to protect our learners, and I think that's the common ground that we all agree with. Mr. Mpanza started with that. The sensitive information about learners involve very interesting information, behavior, marks, standing data of where they live, and I think our sector needs to respond with the best system in the best time frames, and have the innovation curve behind them rather than ahead of them, so that we can protect our learners.
Okay, so you've described the principle about why the information is sensitive and why it's important to protect the information, but I'm not sure you've described the vulnerability yet.
Yeah, well, what we've heard and seen and had reports to is FEDSAS is a governing body association, as Mr. Mpanza stated. We represent close to 2,000 schools in all provinces of all natures in the country. A lot of our schools are being forced in a call it a soft-handed way, maybe even hard-handed, to use the old pre-modernized SASAMS version, and they report to us that they have better systems. There are several in the country, better systems that they want to use because it complies with data protection. They have to export this information into the department's system, and we still have reports of flash drives. It's just difficult for the people to identify themselves because they're employees of the government. So there's a conflicted position of never being able to be the whistleblower. We still have reports of surveys being requested. Some even in email tell us how many of this at that point in time at your school. We're pushing for all the system to be centralized and no school to be interrupted with requests for data so that education does not take place. So the vulnerabilities are number one, an older management system, local host, not strong security. Number two, transmission of data electronically, not encrypted, sometimes mobile with a flash drive. So the vulnerabilities are there between the protection at the school level and the transmission as well as transport to the provincial level.
And how widespread are these vulnerabilities?
Well, I think
from the information you have at hand.
Yeah, well, if we look at the data, I believe that about 70 to 80% of schools in the country use SA SAMS, the current version, as their primary administration system. We have a record of 9 or 10 so-called third-party systems in the country that a lot of our members would be using, and that's where some of the pressure points come. But yes, the modernized SA SAMS, and it's true what Mr. Mbeki says, we have consultative meetings. We talk about this very often. The media asked comment, and if at this point in time, we're still waiting. I'm not sure about when the process started, but we were supposed to pilot some schools more than a year ago. I think COVID put brakes on issues, and we're constantly getting feedback that this is coming. If we see what's happening internationally with data breaches, fraudsters in the banking industry, learners exposed to online chat scenarios, WhatsApp channels that is making the news. I mean, recently we had a lawyer in South Africa that took Meta to court because of children information, youngsters' information not being shared. So the vulnerabilities are systemic and environmental, and we don't see the speed of reaction by the Department of Education.
So you've identified about 80 to 90 schools that are vulnerable. Is that correct?
No. I would say 80% of schools in the country use SA SAMS, apart from the Western Cape province, which does not use SA SAMS as an operational system. But the other 8 provinces, there's probably in excess of 15,000 schools that use SA SAMS.
Okay. Perhaps, Becky, for you to respond to Rian's characterization of why SA SAMS is problematic and vulnerable.
Remember, Oliver, I admitted that the system, the access system, is no longer supported by Microsoft and is a standalone system.
Sure.
However, there are protocols that are embedded on the system, like password protected access. And those access controls, every year, we are audited by the AG to assess compliance. And in my meeting with NCF 2 months ago, when they raised a similar issue, I said to them, you see, with me sitting at DPE in Pretoria, while we have all these fancy things out there, we may not see whether there's breach. If there's any breach, they must alert me. They have got my email address is on the website. They must alert me so that I deal with it on the spot to say why there's a breach, because there's this protocol that is working. So really, they have not submitted one school where there's a breach of the protocol.
Well, one of the points that I made now, and I'll give him a chance to corroborate that, is that he says they've identified schools that still make use of surveys, and you've said surveys have been put an end to quite a while back. What's your response on that?
You see, Olivia, as you know, education is a concurrent function. So you may find that within a province, the MEC may would like to assess something that is not covered by the system. Maybe that's where then an agent survey will be run. But for official reporting, we don't run any survey. We use the school administration system called SSMs, even for marks. As a system, we only accept mark schedules that are generated by the system called SSMs. So I'm not aware, sitting at DPE, that about any survey, but I don't discount that, as I indicated, that there may be urgent ad hoc basis where the MEC would like to check something and find that SSMs, that thing, because you need to develop a module, test it, it takes a long time. Then the MEC may say, no, let's just compile a small survey. I want to test this thing.
Well, that seems like MECs are being allowed to choose expedience over principle here.
Not really. I was just making an example because where I'm sitting, I'm not aware of, for instance, any survey that is run in the provinces. I meet with provinces, MEC heads, every quarter. So they've never reported any special survey. I was just making an example. But this system is embraced by provinces because it's run by them. Our role as DPE is to maintain and support the system. But utilization is done by provinces.
Okay. Shiloh, I want to bring you into the conversation here. Perhaps in a minute, describe to us what the most ideal way of data management should and does look like. What's the best practice standard?
Good morning, Oliver, and good morning to my two colleagues. Thank you for this opportunity. I think, firstly, we've got to understand that we have a system that's built, almost 2 decades ago with very archaic technology, and it simply cannot protect the data in today's cyber environment. So if one looks at, the banking industry, for example, and I think they have very secure systems, be it that they hacked, but they're not hacked from the back end. They hacked from a user perspective. And they generally, and this is how we are building modernized SSMs, in the sense that the minute data is inputted into the system, be it on an offline device through your phone or through a laptop or through your computer, it's encrypted. And then that encryption then is segregated into data and an encryption key, and then transmitted through the process into the centralized server. There again, it's fully encrypted. So ideally, you want full encryption right through, and then you want encryption and authorization, what we call OAuth 2.0, and that's what we're utilizing, where if you then request data, the process is that as a user that you log in, sorry, I'm getting a little bit technical, but please bear with me. You then request an access token from the system, and that access token is unique and time-bound, to specific access privileges. So, for example, if you're an educator and you want to know about, the learners' siblings in a school, right? The minute it picks that up and you don't have that authorization, it removes your privilege, and then your token expires immediately. That then allows a time gap for you then to reapply for your token. So, it prevents unauthorized access. It makes sure that even though we collect data, that data is still protected. Because as both my colleagues said, the data that we are protecting from a school, learner perspective is of the highest level of data security. And therefore, we take this data and the protection of this data extremely seriously. So there are multiple ways of protecting data. From the point of entry through its transmission, then you store it, and then access to that data. And I think that's critical because, using a system like current SASAMS doesn't give you that functionality. But, when we're modernizing it, and security from our perspective is built by design. So it's not something you build and then come back to. It's in the design phase.
Yeah. Well, give us a call if you have a question or comment. 086 000 2032 086 000 2032. It's just after 11:30. Ondela has your latest headlines.
Thank you, Oliver. On the news headlines, owners of small businesses, including street vendors in Durban, are among those that the taxi shutdown has severely affected. Members of the South African National Taxi Council have embarked on the shutdown. The late-seasoned political journalist and editor at CD Madia has been hailed as a storyteller who was passionate about transformation. This as Madia's funeral service is currently underway in Germiston in Ekurhuleni. Madia passed away last week after a short illness. And President Volodymyr Zelensky is in Paris for talks with what's known as the Coalition of the Willing, a group of around 30, mostly European Ukraine allies. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
Think about 6 years ago, when Amapiano was just a musical instrument, when streaming meant watching water flow, not videos online, and remote work was only said when your remote batteries died. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring? All Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
This Heritage Month, SAFM invites you to journey into the past while shaping the future under the theme, Reimagine Our Heritage Institutions for a New Era. We celebrate the stories, traditions, and voices that define who we are as a nation. From vibrant conversations to thought-provoking debates, SAFM is where heritage meets innovation, connecting generations and keeping our culture alive in a changing world. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday, the 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows, and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers, and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. If we have rights, shouldn't we also have opinions? SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. You are listening to Oliver Dickson on SAFM.
It is 25 minutes to the top of 12 o'clock, and I'm in conversation this morning with Rian van der Berg, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Federation of Governing Bodies of South African Schools, Bheki Mbanzi, the Chief Director for Information and Management Systems at the Department of Basic Education, as well as Shiloh Naikin, the Project Executive at the National Education Collaboration Trust. Rian, perhaps to bring you back here, we have a sense of what the system should look like. Shiloh gave us a good understanding of what the principles are that ought to guide that and what's being worked on. And Becky gave us a sense of what the system currently looks like, SA SAMS currently operates as. But Becky then says that the fail-safe of the system at the moment is that there are access control mechanisms in place, such as password-protected access to information. And therefore, there hasn't been, or at least the logical conclusion of that, is that there shouldn't be breaches of information. He then goes on to, earlier on mentioned that he's given the opportunity to FETSAS to present to the department cases of a breach of information, and the department has not yet done so. Do you know of any substantive cases of a breach of information?
Yeah, if you go to the history, FETSAS has actually reported education departments in provincial matters to the information regulator, which is the POPI Act procedure, and there has been instances. And I maybe just want to zoom out one step, and I think that's where a portion of the problem lies, and I'll answer the portion of what the solution could look like. Mr. Mpanza mentioned the fact that there's a national department that is preparing a resource, and the fact that provinces have their own, call it mandate and domain to manage at provincial level, and that even filters down further into district level. And that's where the disconnect sometimes happen. I think one of the information breaches was in Gauteng around the admissions, online admissions of learners 2-3 years ago, and it was reported to the information regulator and one or two other cases. So there has been breaches. What I want to get to is the solution of what serves who at what level best. And this is where, and we've had these discussions various times, there's a need for an operational system at a school, and each school is not the same as the next school, and there's a specific need. Our schooling dispensation is run on a cooperative governance model. It's a public school, not a state school, and the local governing body has a lot of governance responsibility over the learners and the schooling cycle in their community. And each community needs to do what's best, act in the best interest of the school and in the best interest of the learners. And because the governing body is parent-heavy, it means that the parents are concerned about what happens to their children in their school. We need systems that run a school efficiently, that run and support the administration burden on teachers, on parents, and have local reports to say who's doing how well in which subject, where's the absenteeism. Then we need a different level that might speak to provincial. And provincial warehousing can't be the same system. It can't be everything just the car. The one is the carburetor, the one is the engine, the other one is the steering wheel. National needs the dashboard of the car, but local school needs the engine of the car. And we keep talking about SSM as being this all-encompassing system that does the best for the school, the best for the province, and the best for the
So you're asking for a decentralized or information decentralized approach?
I think we need a centralized warehouse with reporting
with
standards.
Fragmented reporting.
Yeah, and the national department doesn't need to know what the child's name is, but the school needs to know what the child's name is. But we need to know how we're doing mathematically or science or account. So we need to fragment what is needed at specific times. We need interoperability. We need the highest standards of
let me pause you there and give
security.
And give Shiloh Naikin an opportunity to respond to that thought. Shiloh, what's your thoughts around the model pontificated thereupon by Rian?
So when the DBE started the modernization, we investigated a number of centralized and decentralized models, and within the context of our country, and noting that we have a lot more poor schools than more, financially stable schools, it doesn't, really beg the model of saying, let's go with a decentralized model, because we have, and to correct Rian, it's not 9 organizations. We have over 22, organizations in this country that support and provide solutions using a business financial model to recover their income. So a school that doesn't afford this kind of finance cannot really have an administration system. And that's where the department plays a critical role in providing the school with good administrative tools. So, whether we go for a decentralized model, it would be more that the school then supports itself. So if we look at, a centralized government led IMIS systems, it's most common found in Africa, South Asia, parts of, Latin America. And it's because it's of low cost, easier for central government to collect important data. And I do agree with Rian. There is some data that national doesn't need. But, in our country, we need the learners' names, the learners' details, because that we provide that data. When I say we, I mean the department provides that data to Treasury for funding of the schools. Now, we can't have ghost learners, because then you've got an uneven, or, the equitable share that is provided, is then deemed,
And I mean, the problem of ghost learners is a real one that also needs to be addressed.
Absolutely.
I just want to play this WhatsApp voice note and give you and Becky an opportunity to respond to it.
Problem.
Let's have a listen at this.
Hi, Oliver. If you could please ask your guest with regards to the security of pupils' records. Number one, when I was in school, there wasn't really a digital system, at least not that I know of. So how does that affect those of us that left school ages ago? Is there a statute of limit? And so far as the data being transported or transferred via USB, etc., that might not be an issue now, but what is the issue with regards to the security of the servers and where the data is housed at the schools? Is there some sort of a standard or level that the department goes and inspects at the school to ensure that that is done? Just in terms of retroactive, how does that look for those that aren't on a secure system? If it's paper files, what happens to that? Anyway, cheers.
Shiloh, just maybe a 30-second response there.
Yeah, no problem. So the modernized SA SAMS looks at a completely online solution. So we're using cloud services, centralized, and there's a number of security protocols that one has to make sure that when your data is there, it's all aligned to both national and international standards. That obviously the regulator can assess and audit, and also we are looking at making sure that the data on these servers are protected. But Oliver, just one point. Gone are the days where somebody breaches your system from the back end. They breach it through the front end of an ordinary user. And that is where the department and ourselves, as the project, is doing a lot to starting to educate the users on cybersecurity vulnerabilities. So part of our implementation and training covers those kinds of things: what not to open, what to open, how to identify potential, hacking, that kind of thing. But if you look at countries or companies globally, they all get hacked. So it's online. In terms of historical records, Mr. Mpanza can answer that.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we have run out of time on this conversation, so I'm going to have to end it there. And thank you so much for your time this morning. Becky Mpanza, Chief Director of Information and Management Systems at the Department of Basic Education. Rian van der Berg, Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Federation of Governing Bodies of South Africa, South African Schools, as well as Shiloh Naiken, Project Executive at the National Education Collaboration Trust, working on SA SAMS. Well, for myself, Oliver Dickson, that's where I'm going to have to leave it with you today. Catch me tonight at 8 p.m. on Face the Nation. Until then, good night. Goodbye from myself and the team. Cheers.
Think about 6 years ago, when Amapiano was just a musical instrument, when streaming meant watching water flow, not videos online, and remote work was only said when your remote batteries died. So it makes you wonder, what will the next 6 years bring? Hino trucks now come standard with a 6-year drivetrain warranty, covering everything from pistons to gears. So although a lot can change in 6 years, our warranty promise won't. T's and C's apply. Hino, all the way.
I'm Andile Ncube umzilankati isiqongo sino George Ntomba eyazi ngizala ke suka le emzimkhulu egugweni ila ke inkaba yasala khona. Your son got a star on his forehead, brightens your every mood when you get as old as I am. What do I like about Mzansi or love? You know, it's home. Beyond football, I enjoy cricket. You know, or Andile ngesixhosa go Ace Mabheka, you know. My favorite nickname of all time, like Captain Yama 2000. In everything we do, just like the African continent is the beginnings of life, right? Just like women are the beginnings of life. The SABC and SABC Sport is exactly that.
Catch Andile, Captain Yama 2000 Ngube on match days, live on Latuma. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
Spar brings you super savings. Get 120-gram Lay's potato chips, any two for 36 Rand, and 100 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Or 2-liter Pepsi, Mirinda, or Mountain Dew, original only, any two for 30 Rand, and 50 megs free data on Spar Mobile. Plus, you could win your share of 6 million Rand in instant cash. Price is valid until 7 September 2025, while stocks last. T's and C's apply.
SFM's award-winning drama department presents the last episode of the book, A Testament of Hope, the autobiography of Dr. Sam Motswenyane. Please note that the views expressed in this book are not that of the station. Listeners' discretion is advised.
Chapter 17. Where the front hoof of a cow has trodden, so must the hind leg tread. Setswana idiom, fa tlhako ya pele gatileng teng, le ya morago e tla gata. What legacy have we left for future generations? In reality, it is not always the case that the young act strictly in conformity with the norms of their elders, as the above idiom suggests. I don't think that my children have had the kind of exposure in life that I have had, nor have they experienced the difficulties and the joys that I have experienced, which have spurred me on and motivated me. I have enjoyed the rare privilege of leadership for a long time within a very well-organized and cooperative environment. I really owe much of my success as leader to the loyalty of my team. Few leaders enjoy loyal followership for long periods of time such as I have had. When you have led a winning team and one that has worked with you in a good spirit and within a happy atmosphere until the end, you do have a good reason to feel very thankful. And for all that, I don't think that the measure of my success in life could easily rub off enough onto my children. They do often listen to me when I try to guide them, but sometimes they say I preach a lot. I always say that as long as there are no converts amongst them, I'll continue to preach, and if you convert, I'll stop preaching. Just before he died, Mr. S.J.J. Lesolang talked to me about the success he had enjoyed as a businessman. He, together with his brothers, had set up successful companies at a time when blacks did not really know much about how to run companies. However, he said he was not too optimistic about the future and whether their children would take care of all the businesses they had created and do as well as they had done. He further said that I was better off because my children had agreed to attend school up to university level. All my 3 boys, he said, refused to go to university. They just did not want to go there. But my 2 girls who agreed to go to university are better off than the boys. Today, when I look at what happened after the death of Mr. Solang, the disintegration of their businesses as the children seem to be unable to agree on running the business as well as their parents did, I'm inclined to think that he probably was right. The business is not as well run as the parents once ran it, and there have been lots of squabbles amongst the children, some of whom now want to close their businesses. Now, in my own family, I had 6 children, all boys. Our eldest son, who is now deceased, was at university during the turbulent mid-1970s when many of the students at the University of the North abandoned school and crossed the borders to fight for freedom from outside South Africa. Many of them became dropouts, like my son, who did not graduate. He had passed his matric with very good marks. A number of disruptive factors, including the political situation, caused him not to finish his degree. His 3 brothers who followed him to university graduated in arts and law. The younger brother, much against my wishes, decided after finishing a B.Ed that he wanted to teach. I had 2 other sons who passed away. One was a carpenter and was very good with his hands, and the 6th one managed our garage business in Soshanguve for 15 years. He did not go to university, but had tertiary education in business management. In real life, you do not always have ministers giving birth to ministers. You sometimes and quite often have deviations. In our Tswana idiom, we say, where the front hoof of a cow has trodden, so must the hind leg tread. This implies that what the parent has done or achieved must be emulated by the children. Although, of course, that is not always the case, we must, however, continue to cherish the hope that as our children grow, they will, in their later lives, recognize that there was something good in their parents worth emulating. Sometimes this recognition occurs only when you bury your father or mother. There was a young man whose father complained to me and said, I have done everything for this young man, but I just could not get him on the right track. On the day that we buried his father, a successful businessman in Garankuwa, this particular son was crying louder than any of the other children, saying loudly, this was a good man. His father never recognized that this young man had this innate feeling and attitude towards him. He thought that this was a lost child who did not even recognize the good that the father was doing for him. He had sent him all over the show in an attempt to make him a better man for the future. I have also observed throughout the country that there are now more girl students in our universities than male students, and that the gap is increasing. Even if you observe the behavior of our young people, the male groups appear to be drifting further away from acceptable behavior in our society. A little while ago, I was privileged to be asked to address the graduation ceremony at the Garankuwa campus of Tshwane University of Technology. There, I saw many more female students graduating than the male students. Even the best awards there were won by the female students. I then made a joke, which also carried a serious message. Addressing the ladies and appreciating the way that they have come forward in all of the competing segments where awards were given, I said to them that while I was very happy to see them emerge as they were doing, I was also asking myself a very serious question. Who is going to marry you? Because one of the things that sustains marriage is compatibility.